suspended. I believe that was 2017. 17, yeah. So McCutcheon originally started the season in right, Polanco in left. But after the Marte suspension, they moved Kutch back to center, Polanco back to right, and Frazier got the lion's share of time in left field during the Marte 80-game PED suspension. And he can still play out there. He hasn't played out there in a while, but I think it'd be worthwhile to give him some outfield reps, especially if they're giving Cole Tucker and Phillip Evans outfield reps. Adam Frazier got to be out there at least taking some fly balls. I'm not asking for too much here from Shelton Don Kelly, Don Kelly is the guy that sort of runs summer camp. He runs spring training. He's running the summer camp right now. Putting guys in their groups and scheduling the workouts and going through all that. And kudos to Don Kelly because he has done an excellent job preparing this team for the exhibition season. I guess we have 3 more exhibition games before getting into the regular season on Friday. But I think an interesting market. We talked about Jared Oliva, I believe, on the show either last week or the week before. But I'm a big proponent in trading Gerard Dyson at the August 31st trade deadline. And one of the moves that I was sort of upset about this week came down from Rob Manfred, that he's not going to be allowing scouts in ballparks until further notice. And what I really think no scouts is going to force. There's going to be very little movement at the deadline. There are huge stadiums. These are huge stadiums. And Rob Manfred is trying to tell me that they can't figure out a way to have scouts socially distance, wear masks, do whatever they need to do, but the team send their scouts before the deadline, and there's like a month for general managers to make decisions on what to do at the deadline and who to acquire, and they want their scouts in place on July 24th, but they're not going to be able to do that. And Manfred said he would revisit the decision about the scouts and could potentially reverse and allow scouts back into the stadiums, but it just, there's very little time. And if the Pirates are out of contention, which I don't think they'll be, but let's say they are, and the guys that I would like to see traded are Frazier, Dyson, and Kella. I mean, what we're seeing with Kella is sort of disconcerting regarding a trade and what's going to happen because he is a free agent at the end of the season, and it's obviously a big blow to the bullpen. But I like to see Frazier traded so we can get Tucker more reps, and I like to see Dyson traded so we could see Oliva get some starts. I still think Travis Swaggerty is not going to. We're not going to see him in Pittsburgh this year unless the injuries continue. I would still say, in terms of depth chart for outfielders, let's say right field, for example, it goes Heredia, Brito, Martin, Oliva, Swaggerty. And I honestly would have Frazier ahead of Swaggerty on the list. I just don't think that they're ready to have him. I think this is much more of a developmental reason, similar to having Live or Peguero being on the 60-man roster, and similar to Nick Gonzalez. Like, we're not going to see Gonzalez or Peguero or Swaggerty make it to Pittsburgh this year, but what you do want to see out of them, and Aaron Shortridge, another name to keep in mind, is their development continue. And with no minor league season, that's really the only way you're going to be able to see that. They did leave Quinn Priester off the roster, but he is traded on his own, and he actually looks really good. I saw some footage of him pitching. He's hitting like almost 98 now, so good stuff from Quinn Priester. But what you didn't want to see is Swaggerty's development stunted at all, because we still do expect him to be the center fielder of the future. And obviously Gregory Polanco's future is up in the air, and what's going to happen come 2022. You never know. You could have an outfield of Reynolds, Oliva, Swaggerty, or maybe even talked about O'Neal Cruz moving out to right field. Or you have an outfield of Swaggerty, Cruz, and Reynolds, with Oliva sort of being the fourth outfielder, maybe even DH at that point, because it's likely that now that we have the universal DH for 2020, that's probably not coming back in 2021. I would imagine that the MLB and MLBPA would ratify with very high votes in the ratification process for the designated hitter to be brought to the National League. It never really made sense why it's only the American League and not the National League. But finally, that issue is going to be rectified. I like the National League game a whole lot better than the American League game. But I mean, we've known that this was coming down the pike for quite some time now. The Pittsburgh Pirates will be without one of their best relievers to start the 2020 season. Late last week, fans of the Pittsburgh Pirates learned that closer Keone Kela was not working out with the team at PNC Park. Since the get-go, Derek Shelton could not disclose why Kela was not with the team. At this point, questions started to arise about if Kela would be ready for the upcoming July 24th opening day or not. Now, we know that Kela will not be with the team when they start their 2020 season in St. Louis 6 days from today. This is because the Pittsburgh Pirates have placed Kela on the 10-day injury list. Per MLB transactions, the Pirates placed Keone Kela on the 10-day injury list. Kela has not participated in preseason camp. The team said it cannot disclose the reason for his absence. The Pittsburgh Pirates still have not released any information on what is plaguing Kela, so it is not known if it is an injury or potentially COVID-19 related. Unfortunately, injuries have become the story for Kela as a member of the Pirates. After being acquired at the 2018 trade deadline, he was shut down in September. Then in 2019, he pitched in just 32 games, logging 29 2/3 innings due to a variety of injuries as well as a team-issued suspension. The lack of Kela to start the season will create opportunity in the Pirate bullpen. Kela was slated to be the team's closer, so this opens up opportunities in the ninth inning for other relievers. While the Pittsburgh Pirates should not use a designated closer as it is not an actual position, Kyle Crick and Nick Burdi are the first two pitchers that come to mind in terms of replacing Kela. This could also create more opportunities for pitchers such as Michael Feliz and Richard Rodriguez to pitch in high-leverage situations. A pitcher such as Clay Holmes could have the opportunity to rise into a high-leverage role now too. This will also open up another spot in the Pirate bullpen, which will benefit a borderline guy such as Dovidas Neverauskas, who's battling for the final bullpen spot or spots. This will also lessen, if not altogether kill, the Pirates' hope of trading Kela before the August 31st trade deadline. With free agency looming for the righty, the Pirates undoubtedly would have looked to try and trade him before August 31st. Now, the odds of that happening and getting anything of value in return go way down. This is what really frustrated me about the whole Kela situation, and really why an opt-out would have been much better news for us to get than this injured list spot. I mean, he hasn't showed up at PNC Park. We don't know if it's COVID-19, which I'm in the COVID-19 camp personally on the reason for Keone Kela's absence, but we don't know exactly what the issue with Keone Kela is. It could also be an injury, and that could obviously derail anything of an August 31st trade, and with the scout situation, and it significantly lessens, and we're not going to get anything of value in return. And the question for Cherington then is, do you attempt to bring Keone Kela back for 2021? I think the Pirates have the bullpen arms to be able to move on just fine without Kela on the roster long term, but it's just a frustrating, and the injuries, especially last year with all the injuries, and we see now Polanco, Kela, Hayes, Brito, Cedarland, they're piling up once again, and it's frustrating. And I know all of these are COVID-19 related, and it's frustrating that the Pirates are having to face this, but I guess every team is facing it, and the Pirates are trying to do it the best as they can. But losing Kela is just detrimental to that bullpen. Kela was going to be the anchor, the guy that you could count on in the ninth inning, and now they don't have that. And Derek Shelton has said they're not going to have a full-time closer. They'll mix and match. So you can expect the guy closing out. I think Crick and Burdi have to be the top two guys. But you could see Michael Feliz. You could see Rich Rod. You could even see Clay Holmes be closing out games. And this opens up, again, the spot for Dovidas Neverauskas in the bullpen. And we talked about the fact that there's going to be so you're going to have the 5-man rotation. And Brault and Cole, you can sort of lump, so say 6-man rotation. So you're going to have 9 guys in the bullpen, and that's going to be Crick, Burdi, Feliz, Rich Rod, Clay Holmes, we know will be in there. I'll put Dovidas Neverauskas in there. That's pretty obvious. So at that point, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are still 3 spots to fill. I'll go to Robbie Erlin, Sam Howard, and Chris Stratton. Now, I think Dovidas Neverauskas is sort of battling with JT Brubaker for that last spot in the bullpen. JT Brubaker pitched in the inter-squad game last night. He looked pretty good. I do think Sam Howard is going to make that opening day roster. And the guys that you'll see in the bullpen are Crick, Birdie, Feliz, Rich Rod, Holmes, Neverauskas, Erlin, Howard, and Stratton. With your 6 guys in rotation: Musgrove, Williams, Keller, Holland, Brault, and Chad Kuhl. So, it's just frustrating because the anchor again to the bullpen was Kenny Kell. We lost the anchor to the rotation in Jamison Tyon. We lost Chris Archer. It's just injury after injury, loss after loss. Like, when can we get something going positively in the Pirates' direction? And again, I'm very excited for the game tonight. Excited to see what the Pirates are going to be able to do. We do have the guys that are scheduled to pitch tonight as Joe Musgrove, Stephen Brault, Chad Cole, Dovidas Neverauskas, Kyle Crick, and Nick Birdie. Trevor Williams will start Monday's exhibition game in Cleveland. Guys that are expected to go in that game are Brubaker, Feliz, Crick, Rodriguez, Stratton, and Erlin. So I guess they're going to try. Let me just see. So we've got, this news just came out. So we got Brault, that's 1, Cole 2, Neverauskas 3, Crick 4, Birdie 5. So I have Musgrove go 4 innings, let's say, and then Brault for the 5th, Cole for the 6th, Neverauskas 7, Crick 8, Birdie 9. Interesting that they're having Birdie close that out. I don't know if that leads credence to anything, but Williams, let's see who's all going in that. Brubaker 1, Feliz 2, Crick 3. Good to see Crick in back-to-back games there. Rodriguez, Stratton, Erlin. Crick's the only guy that's scheduled to pitch in both outings. So I guess I like to see that and a good sign moving forward. But, you know, I'm excited for the game tonight, excited for this 3-game set. And by the time we talk to you next Saturday, as we wind down the podcast here, we'll be talking about real baseball. And if you've forgotten what a real baseball show looks like, we do our Player of the Week, Pitcher of the Week, Rookie of the Week, and Glove of the Week. And I'll probably lump in these 3 games here because rather than just giving like my opening day awards, I'll do the 4 games. And also, I guess it's sort of weird, but this is a continuation of spring training. So the Pirates currently have a record of 3-15-2. The best they can do is 6-15-2, and the worst they can do is 3-18-2. I'd imagine there'd be ties as well. I doubt they're going to go past the 9 innings as they do in a typical spring training affair. But I'm excited for baseball. I've got myself a little bit more frustrated than I probably should have during the course of this episode in terms of injuries and everything. But I'm excited for the season. Again, my official standings prediction for the Pirates, tied for 3rd in the division, going 30-30. First place, Cardinals, 37-23. Second place, Brewers, 32-28. Third and third are the Cubs and Pirates, 30-30. And then the Reds, again, taking heat for that. Last place, 24-36. So, that's just going to about do it for our show today. Hope you all watch these games coming up. The first in the big day in American sports. We have our sports back. It is live. It is at PNC Park tonight. They are leading the country out of the pandemic, and I really like to say that. But enjoy the game tonight. Enjoy the games this week. All at 7:05 on AT&T Sportsnet tonight. Also on MLB Network if you're not in the Pittsburgh area. Wednesday and Monday, Wednesday, and then opening night in St. Louis against the Cardinals, 8:15, Musgrove v. Flaherty. It's going to be a fun season, and I can't wait to kick it off and break it all down for you next Saturday noon here on Bucco-Booth. Have a great and safe week, everybody. As always, let's go Bucks, and enjoy these games. We've got 4 to watch. I'll see you next week.